Listen closely. If your life were a book, would anyone actually want to read the chapter you're writing today? Most people spend their entire lives narrating a story of someday, and maybe waiting for a stroke of fortune that simply never comes. But here is the cold, hard truth. Your reality doesn't improve by chance or a lucky roll of the dice. It only evolves the moment you make the conscious, heavy decision to overhaul it. This is your definitive wake-up call. For too long, you've been sheltering yourself behind the walls of not enough time, lack of capital, or wrong age. Let's call them what they really are: carefully crafted myths you use to escape the weight of your own potential. While the crowd is busy documenting their grievances and complaining about their problems, the elite are busy documenting their progress and finding solutions. Think of someone like Sylvester Stallone, who faced absolute poverty and countless rejections, yet refused to let his circumstances define his future. He didn't wait for luck. He grabbed his destiny by the throat. The only ceiling holding you back is the one you've built in your own mind. If you are ready to stop being a victim of your excuses and start being the architect of your victory, while also elevating your English fluency to a professional level, make sure to subscribe to our channel right now. The time for talking is over. The time for total ownership is now. Let's change your narrative. Shift your gaze from the obstacles in front of you to the limitless potential residing within your own mind. It's a hard truth to swallow, but the only invisible wall standing between your current reality and your ultimate peak is your own mindset. I've seen so many talented people fail simply because they believed their doubts more than their dreams. Think about Walt Disney. He was once dismissed by an editor who claimed he lacked imagination. Instead of surrendering to that external label, he chose to trust his internal vision, eventually building an empire that defined generations. You and I have that same creative spark waiting to be ignited. I want you to pause right now and vividly visualize the legacy you are creating. Can you see that stunning modern home, the sanctuary you've always promised yourself? Can you feel the leather of that luxury vehicle as you drive down the road of your success? But look closer at the most important part of the picture: your parents. Imagine the profound relief and pride in their eyes when they realize their decades of sacrifice have finally been honored. Seeing them live in comfort, knowing they never have to stress over another day of work, is the ultimate reward. Your vision is the compass, and your parents' smiles are the destination. Now, let's make that map a reality. Every time your phone screen lights up and you instinctively reach for it, you aren't just checking the notification. You are signing away a piece of your destiny. We often treat our time like a limitless resource, but the truth is that your daily habits are either building a throne or digging a grave for your dreams. Every hour you surrender to mindless scrolling or digital entertainment is a permanent withdrawal from the bank of your potential, a currency you can never earn back. While the majority of people are content with being spectators of someone else's highlight reel, the elite are busy behind the scenes, reading, learning, and refining their craft to ensure their future is secure. I want us to look at the real cost of our procrastination. Think of your mother who prioritized your health and your future over her own dreams for nearly a year before you were even born. Reflect on your father, whose hands are worn and whose back is tired from decades of labor just to give you the opportunities you are currently ignoring. They didn't struggle through those storms so you could live a life of average distractions. They sacrificed so you could be the one to change everything. If it guts you to realize that your parents are growing older while you are still playing games with your life, comment "No more wasted time" to reclaim your focus right now. Stop behaving as if you have an eternity to get your act together, because the legacy of your family is waiting for you to finally take it seriously. The entrance fee to the life you've always imagined isn't paid in currency. It's paid in the pieces of your comfort you are willing to set on fire. We often look at champions and see only the gold medals, completely ignoring the thousands of hours they spent in the shadows, grinding while the rest of the world was fast asleep. I'm talking about the raw, painful discipline to abandon your warm bed at 4 a.m., or the strength to decline a social invitation because your vision is non-negotiable. We must realize that every yes we give to a minor distraction is a no. We are shouting at our own potential. Think of an elite performer like Michael Phelps. While his competitors were taking breaks for holidays, he spent 5 straight years without a single day away from the training pool. He didn't just hope to succeed. He made excellence his only oxygen. I want you to pursue your purpose with the same absolute desperation a person feels for their next breath when they are struggling for air in the deep. If your hunger isn't that visceral, you'll just be another name lost in the crowd of people who could have been. I know you have the power to rise, so let's sharpen your English and your ambition together by clicking subscribe. Stop waiting for the journey to get comfortable, and start becoming the person who can dominate the storm. Your victory isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of how much you are willing to give up to get there. Take a cold, honest look at the 5 people you spend the most time with, because their reality is slowly becoming your own. I've realized that we often underestimate how much a toxic environment can poison a brilliant mind, so you must intentionally surround yourself with winners. If your inner circle lacks ambition or constantly complains about their circumstances, they aren't just spectators, they are anchors weighing down your progress. We have to be brave enough to prune our social garden, choosing to walk with those who fuel our fire rather than those who try to extinguish it, even if that means standing alone for a season. In this journey, the most critical foundation you will ever build is the one within, which is why you must believe in yourself before anyone else does. The world is naturally crowded with skeptics and critics who will try to measure your future by their own limitations, but you cannot let their voices become your truth. Think of Albert Einstein, who was once dismissed by his teachers as being slow and uneducable. He didn't let their narrow labels define his reality, and neither should we. We must treat every doubt from the outside as background noise, focusing instead on the limitless potential we know exists in our souls. Remember, success isn't defined by never failing, but by having the audacity to trust your path when everyone else is looking for a reason to quit. Your inner conviction must be louder than the world's noise if you want to leave a mark that truly lasts. The most profound conversations you will ever have aren't with the people around you, but with the voice echoing inside your own head. I want us to recognize that setbacks are never permanent. They are simply the raw materials for your future success. Think of Steve Jobs, who was once publicly fired from the very company he founded. Instead of letting that failure define him, He used the stillness of that period to innovate and grow, eventually returning to revolutionize the world. We must view our obstacles as necessary lessons that sharpen our resolve rather than stop our progress. To truly hear your own potential, you must take time for yourself. In a world that is constantly screaming for your attention, finding 10 minutes of complete stillness every day is a radical act of self-leadership. It's during these quiet moments of reflection that we recharge our mental batteries and rediscover what we truly desire from this life. While you are working on this internal growth, I also want to help you sharpen your external tools. We have curated specific videos on our channel featuring effective tips to boost your English fluency, and I invite you to explore those guides to ensure your voice is as powerful as your mindset. Finally, you must reprogram your mind by treating your thoughts like a private garden. If we plant seeds of doubt, we will only harvest fear. But if we plant affirmations of strength, our lives will bloom with new possibilities. Start declaring, "I am the architect of my fate," until your subconscious accepts it as truth. Your internal dialogue is the script of your life, so make sure you are writing a masterpiece worth performing. Every monumental achievement you see in the physical world was first a vivid reality in someone's imagination. To reach your peak, you must visualize your dream life with surgical precision. Don't just think about success. I want you to feel the texture of the certificate in your hands, or hear the applause of the crowd after your keynote speech. Think of an artist who sees the finished masterpiece on a blank canvas before the first stroke is even made. We must build our future internally before we can inhabit it externally, because if your mind can't go there, your feet never will. However, a clear vision is useless if your thoughts are in a state of rebellion, which is why you must control your mind. Your brain is a powerful engine, but without a pilot, it will crash into the walls of "I can't." When a negative thought creeps in, I need you to consciously intercept it and replace it with a solution-oriented command. We treat our minds like a muscle. We train it through repetition until positivity becomes our default setting. You have the authority to decide which thoughts get a seat at your table. The steering wheel of your life is your focus. Don't let a stray thought drive you into a ditch. Think about the tallest skyscraper you've ever seen. It didn't just appear out of thin air, but rose from the ground, one single steel beam at a time. We often feel paralyzed by the sheer scale of our ultimate ambitions. Yet I want us to embrace the hidden strategy of the world's highest achievers. They start small while they dream big. If your goal is to master a complex new skill, or a foreign language, don't drown in the complexity of the whole journey. Instead, just commit to conquering 3 new concepts before you close your eyes tonight. These micro wins are the vital heartbeat of progress that eventually lead to a masterpiece. Furthermore, you must learn to be your own cheerleader, because if you are waiting for a crowd to applaud before you even start, you'll be waiting forever. Stop hunting for external approval and start being the person who validates your own effort in the mirror every single morning. Reflect on the journey of Sir James Dyson, who spent 15 years creating 5,126 failed prototypes before his vacuum technology finally worked. He didn't view those years as a waste, but as 5,126 necessary steps toward his revolution. What is one tiny, seemingly insignificant action you can take in the next 10 minutes that your future self will thank you for? The distance between who you are and who you want to be is simply the sum of the small, consistent steps you decide to take starting right now. There's a silent poison that kills more dreams than failure ever will, and its name is good enough. I am challenging us to draw a line in the sand today, and finally stop settling for average, because you were never intended to just get by in a standard existence. We often accept a mediocre career or a lukewarm routine because it feels comfortable, but comfort is the silent graveyard of your potential. Consider a legend like Leonardo da Vinci. He didn't just paint to finish a task, he obsessed over every detail until he created something timeless. We must stop accepting satisfactory and start demanding extraordinary from every hour we spend. In this pursuit, you must ground your spirit in gratitude. Take a moment every evening to identify 3 specific blessings you are thankful for. This practice recalibrates your mindset, ensuring you recognize your progress while maintaining the hunger for the next level. When you blend a refusal to be ordinary with a heart full of appreciation, you become genuinely unstoppable. Your current standards are the only boundaries of your future. So tear them down and start living at the frequency of your highest self. The cold glass of the mirror reflects the only individual who possesses the authority to either architect your rise or orchestrate your ruin. We must stop looking for scapegoats in our parents, our employers, or our past mistakes, because none of them hold the deed to your future, only you do. I've learned that growth is often a violent departure from the familiar. If your goals don't make your heart race with a bit of fear, they simply aren't large enough to transform your reality. Stop waiting for a perfect season that will never arrive, and realize that every ticking second is a piece of your life you can never reclaim. Think of Roger Bannister. For decades, the world insisted that running a mile in under 4 minutes was a physical impossibility. He didn't listen to the critics or his own doubts. He took full ownership of his destiny and shattered that invisible ceiling forever. Like him, you aren't a prisoner of where you started, but a pioneer of where you are going. Let's stop announcing our intentions to the world and start letting the undeniable weight of our results do the talking. If it kills you to realize you're still stuck in the same place you were a year ago, then stop being a spectator of your own life. Subscribe to our channel right now to master the English language and finally turn your excuses into an extraordinary legacy. The era of your transformation doesn't begin tomorrow. It starts the moment you decide that enough is finally enough.